Hello everybody, it's Sarah Oleg Spiker here. Today I want to talk to you about upgrading from the business that is built on excellence to the one that really thrives and is fueled by your genius, and how to bring your team along, how to elevate the conversations, how to tap into the expansion consciousness in order to really bring it to the new level. And this is one of the conversations that we've been having with a lot of clients and connections and potential clients, and just within our community recently. It was inspired for a lot of business owners with COVID, when they really were forced to rethink things, to re envision new ways, to redesign the way they were showing up and how they were serving. And a lot of them really had to reframe and recreate a lot of ways of how their businesses would not only survive COVID, but thrive. And not just through COVID, but then for years to come. And doing so, they realized there was a lot of things they needed to choose and let go. And through the releasing part of it, right? um, they found themselves feeling really inspired to do more. So now, putting COVID aside, now we have a whole new movement that is literally spread nationwide with intention of changing how our country operates, changing the fabric of our culture. Is super powerful, and a lot of business owners, again, we feel called to really step up our game so we can contribute to this movement on a whole new level. So again, we're empowered and we're inspired and motivated to rethink, to re-envision, to redesign, to recreate, to reframe, and consequently, again, release all that no longer belongs. So it is a joy and privilege to be living in this time and being a part of the history in the making. So as business owners, a lot of times, we work in my company, we work particularly with service-based businesses worldwide. And some of them are solo businesses, some of them have small virtual teams, some of them are micro businesses and small business owners who do have teams in place. So we understand that, for somebody working solo, the business can be much more agile than somebody who also has added responsibilities towards their teams. So, how, again, in this conversation of really elevating business that is built on excellence to the one that's being driven by genius, what do we do? How can we make this happen? And how can we elevate a conversation, expand our consciousness, and really empower our own team members to come with us, to come along, right? So, one of the things that we start with is the vision, right? The strategic vision. And then the second part of the conversation is how to now make this vision a reality, literally reverse engineering the steps and creating a powerful and strategic plan that is easy to incorporate. It's easy to carry out, and it's carried out in phases. Like I said, sometimes it can be quick and it can be a day of strategic planning. Sometimes it takes a longer process, a longer time. Um, but ultimately, whether it's the strategic part or whether it's the vision, what it really comes down to frequently is the mindset piece. We can have the most amazing plan in place, but it's the mindset piece that's holding us back, and it's all the hooks and expectations, and trying to fit all the boxes of how things used to be, right? Or how they're supposed to look like. But the powerful thing about working on a mindset and master the mindset is that expansions for some reason I can't even say the word today. The words are not quite coming through today. um, when we tap into this vision, right, and allow ourselves to be easy, because excellence in many times it's so manufactured, right? And excellence, it's through training and through repetition. It does not necessarily mean inspired, it does not necessarily mean fun, it does not necessarily mean fulfilling. So this leap from one to another, it's scary for many business owners, for many leaders. Um, and I can attest to it myself when I went through my own evolution and growth, especially when I was shifting from, again, business of excellence that was done for you services. We proud ourselves with the fact that our clients were being served and we provided services um, for them. So when I shifted into coaching and consulting, this tangible part, um, services done for our clients that were measurable in a very specific way, they no longer were part of the equation. And I remember how challenging this transition was in seeing the value that we provide. And even though the services were much more in alignment, they came much more naturally and they were much more fulfilling to what we were offering. They were much more needed at the stage of what our clients needed and were looking for and were calling for and seeking us for. There was this part where we were like, oh, are we really showing up fully? Because, like I said, this big part of our identity was no longer there. So I know how it feels to now all of a sudden have this void, this empty space when you try to fill it up, right? And speaking of the mindset, right? That's when all the doubts are starting to come in, all the fears are starting to come up, and all the old stories. And when you have a team, again, the team needs to find new identity, many of them new role within the company. For some of them, the roles might not even be available anymore, so they need to be released. So it's a very complex conversation to be had. But yet again, with mastering our own mind, now we can also bring in the spiritual part also. So there's multiple components that are now at play to help us really create this new holistic approach, a new holistic picture that leading with our zone of genius, we are literally painting on a blank canvas of how does that get to look like for each and every one of us, for each and every one of our businesses, for each and every one of our teams, for our clients, for the environment, for the communities. How do we get to create a positive impact? And not just that, oftentimes what happens, and this is probably the more fulfilling and exciting part for me as a mentor, is when client might come to me at first to say, I need to fix my business, I need to upgrade my business, I need to make my business better, or whatever business related. But when we put all those pieces in place, what starts to really happen is they start to feel alive themselves. Their relationships deepen. The lifestyle that once they were dreaming about now becomes a reality. And it happens in such a natural and easy flow that they are in disbelief. Some of them don't even notice because there's just natural progress to things. And that's a multidimensional success, this intentional creation of a living, of a business, of leadership, and ultimately positive impact that we've been promoting and really advocating for. It happens, yes, intentionally, obviously. It happens on a conscious level. It happens through elevated conversations and visions and ideas. It happens through paradigm shifts. It happens through quantum leaps and leaps of faith and incredible amounts of trust. And it happens through um, next level commitment. Because once our clients who come in, they make a commitment to themselves, which means that they understand and they know and they're willing to push through all of the resistance that all of a sudden is not going to be coming up, right? Because we are literally changing everything that they were indoctrinated into how life and work is supposed to look like. And we're shifting that and we're upgrading that into what they feel and are called towards and what they're meant to do and how they're meant to show up. And there all of a sudden is no manual for that anymore. There's no check boxes anymore for that, checklist to tick off the boxes. It's a whole new environment, a whole new level. And oftentimes that is scary. because for the ego it is totally unknown. The fears are kicking up, right? And all the hooks starting to pull back. And here's where the cultural programming comes into place, epigenetics comes into place. So it is a very holistic and complex work that we get to do in order for them to not only free up themselves from this compartmentalized perception of what excellence is, but to liberating zone of genius. And at this level now, they're able to not only make a much greater impact on their communities, make a much greater contributions for themselves and for others, but like we said, they get to feel alive again. They get to deepen relationships with their partners, with their kids. They get to lead a whole different life, the life that has been calling for them. And now that this is available to them, they get to consciously elevate their and empower their own teams as well. I mean, I can talk about it for hours. I can give you many examples because I get so fired up just thinking about all the transformation, deep transformation that happens in lives that are genuinely changed as this happens. So this is why I wanted to have this conversation with you, to invite you to perhaps re-envision what is possible for you, redesign your own future and feel into what you're called to and meant to create, what your purpose, what your mission is here, what you're passionate about. Like I said, the external environment, whether it was a COVID wake up call or recreation of the fabrics of our own society as we're witnessing it now, use that as a catalyst to create a change and to be the change that you want to see. And really allow yourself to spread up your wings and use your gifts that have been given to you, that perhaps you and society have tried to, suppress for so long. Open up your wings and take off, because sky is the limit. Yes, it will be difficult, it will be challenging, it will be frustrating, it is scary. There's going to be all the hooks pulling you back, there's going to be anchors wearing you down, there's going to be judgment, there's going to be misunderstandings, but you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your team, you owe it to your clients, you owe it to your families, you owe it to your partner, you owe it to your community, but above it all, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. So I invite you to re-envision what is possible. I invite you to rethink and redesign, recreate, reframe, and then release what no longer belongs. One of my clients said when we were working together, he said, "Oh my gosh, he sent me through fires and fires and fires, and everything that no longer belonged finally burnt out. But you know what? Now I'm finally sprouting green again." I mean, I get goosebumps, and there's no monetary value that could possibly be put on such transformation. But when you give yourself this gift, when you give yourself a permission to make this leap, you're going to be sprouting green again. And that's what happens when you allow yourself to upgrade into this zone of genius, and things become easy, they flow naturally. There's endless inspiration that is fueling you to keep on moving forward. And even when you're motivated differently, with different purpose behind it. And there's no struggle, right? Because now you literally are doing what you're meant to do and what your purpose has been, and what you're being given, the reason why you came here in this time and space. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's a slight shift, and sometimes it's literally burning all the bridges and starting from scratch. But whatever it is, I hope you give yourself this gift, and I hope you see these particular times as an opportunity for you to really step forward, step up, and tame your own inner lioness. You know, it's been something that I've been talking about for many years, but really, that's what it comes down to, and that's the mindset piece and really shifting the vibrational frequency. It's through untaming your own inner lioness, and then just see how everything changes from there. So, this is my message to you today on this very particular day. And I hope it resonates. I hope you receive it. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.